I just really want to recognize and appreciate Denzel Washington, as he used it 15 times in his speech of motivation, inspiration, whatever you need. Welcome to another terrific communications analysis. My name is Farouk and I'm a communications coach. In this video, we'll be breaking down and analyzing one of my favorite actors of all time. He is none other than the GOAT, Denzel Washington. First, we're going to be reacting to his speech entitled Put God First, which is a commencement speech that he delivered. We'll then be providing a full communications analysis, and lastly, it's a tradition here to rate the communication skills of the speaker. If that's something that interests you, stick around till the end. Let's get right into it.
Number one, put God first. Put God first in everything you do. Everything that you think you see in me, everything that I've accomplished, everything that you think I have, and I have a few things, everything that I have is by the grace of God. Understand that. It's a gift. 40 years ago, March 27th, 1975, it was 40 years ago, just this past March, I was flunking out of college. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I hope none of you can relate. I had a 1.7 grade point average. I was sitting in my mother's beauty shop. They still call it beauty shops now? What they call it now? Yeah, I was sitting in the beauty parlor. I was sitting in my mother's beauty parlor, and I'm looking in the mirror, and I see behind me this woman under the dryer. And every time I looked up, she was looking at me, just looking me in the eye. And I didn't know who she was, and I said, she said, somebody give me a pen, give me a pencil, I have a prophecy. March 27, 1975, she said, boy, you are gonna travel the world and speak to millions of people. Now mind you, I was flunked out of college. I'm thinking about joining the army. I didn't know what I was gonna do, and she's telling me I'm gonna travel the world and speak to millions of people. Well, I have traveled the world, and I have spoke to millions of people. But that's not the most important thing, the success that I had. The most important thing is that what she taught me and what she told me that day has stayed with me since. I've been protected, I've been directed, I've been corrected. I've kept God in my life, and it's kept me humble. I didn't always stick with him, but he always stuck with me. So stick with him in everything you do. If you think you want to do what you think I've done, then do what I've done and stick with God. Number two, fail big. That's right. Fail big. Today's the beginning of the rest of your life, and it can be very frightening. It's a new world out there. It's a mean world out there, and you only live once. So do what you feel passionate about. Take chances professionally. Don't be afraid to fail. There's an old IQ test, was 9 dots, and you had to draw 5 lines with a pencil within these 9 dots without lifting the pencil. The only way to do it was to go outside the box. So don't be afraid to go outside the box. Don't be afraid to think outside the box. Don't be afraid to fail big, to dream big. But remember, dreams without goals are just dreams, and they ultimately fuel disappointment. So have dreams, but have goals. Life goals, yearly goals, monthly goals, daily goals. I try to give myself a goal every day. Sometimes it's just to not curse somebody out. Simple goals, but have goals. And understand that to achieve these goals, you must apply discipline and consistency. In order to achieve your goals, you must apply discipline, which you have already done, and consistency every day, not just on Tuesday and miss a few days. You have to work at it every day. You have to plan every day. You've heard the saying, we don't plan to fail, we fail to plan. Hard work works. Working really hard is what successful people do. And in this text, tweet, twerk world that you've grown up in, remember, just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Remember that. Just because you're doing a lot more doesn't mean you're getting a lot more done. Don't confuse movement with progress. My mother told me, she said, yeah, because you can run in place all the time and never get anywhere. So continue to strive, continue to have goals, continue to progress.
Hey everybody, it's Tony Robbins. Listen, I'm on my way to the studio and the sun is setting on an opportunity and I don't want you to miss out.
Number 3, you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I'll say it again. You'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse. I don't care how much money you make, you can't take it with you. And it's not how much you have. It's what you do with what you have. We all have different talents. Some of you will be doctors, some lawyers, some scientists, some educators, some nurses, some teachers. Yeah, okay. Some preachers. The most selfish thing you can do in this world is help someone else. Why is it selfish? Because the gratification, the goodness that comes to you, the good feeling that I get from helping others, nothing's better than that. Not jewelry, not big house I have, not the cars, but it's the joy. That's where the joy is, in helping others. That's where the success is. Finally, I pray that you put your slippers way under the bed tonight, so that when you wake up in the morning, you have to get on your knees to reach them. And while you're down there, say thank you for grace. Thank you for mercy. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for wisdom. Thank you for parents. Thank you for love. Thank you for kindness. Thank you for humility. Thank you for peace. Thank you for prosperity. Say thank you in advance for what's already yours. That's how I live my life. That's why I am. One of the reasons why I am today. Say thank you in advance for what is already yours. True desire in the heart for anything good is God's proof to you, sent beforehand to indicate that it's yours already. I'll say it again. True desire in the heart, that itch that you have, whatever it is you want to do, that thing that you want to do to help others and to grow and to make money, that desire, that itch, that's God's proof to you, sent beforehand already to indicate that it's yours. And anything you want good, you can have. So claim it. Work hard to get it. When you get it, reach back. Pull someone else up. Each one, teach one. Don't just aspire to make a living. Aspire to make a difference.
And now it's time for the analysis. First of all, I just really want to recognize and appreciate DenzelWashington as an exceptional motivational speaker. This speech is as good as it gets when it comes to motivational speeches. This speech was absolutely jam-packed with inspiration, and not only that, if you run the speech through a word counter, you'll realize that the most used word is in fact God. He used it 15 times in his speech, so it's not only an inspirational speech but a deeply spiritual one. The second thing you have to admire is the amount of thought that went into writing that speech to ensure that it sounds eloquent for the audience. Denzel made full use of rhetorical devices like tricolons and metaphors throughout his speech. A tricolon is basically when you have three elements that have a similar sounding structure. The elements could be words or phrases. So for instance, in one place Denzel said, "Don't be afraid to do this, don't be afraid to do that, don't be afraid to do this." That's three elements with a similar sounding structure. He also said that he had been protected, directed, corrected. That's three words that sound similar to create emphasis. And lastly, he also said text, tweet, twerk. Again, same idea here. He also made good use of the metaphors in his speech. In one place he said that you'll never see a U-Haul behind a hearse, which indicates, of course, the idea that you can't take everything with you to the grave. Overall, the use of language in his speech was top-notch. Now I'm going to mention a suggestion for improvement. I noticed that when moving from one main point to the next, he didn't really have much of a transition in between, and that was the case throughout his speech. When, for instance, he moved from put God first to fail big, the transition was kind of abrupt. It wasn't smooth. He does use signposts, which is basically indicating to the audience which main point you're on, whether you're on your first, second, or third main point, which is helpful for the audience, but it would still help if he had a bridging statement, and he could easily implement a look back and look forward transition in his talk when moving from one main point to the next. He could have easily just incorporated one line saying, "Faith gives us direction, but success requires bold action. This leads me to my second main point, blah blah blah." This would indicate to the audience that he's wrapping up the point that he's currently on and let them know that he's shifting gears to the next main point. The second suggestion for improvement is that it would be nice to have an introduction to ease into the main body of the speech. I noticed that he didn't really have much of an introduction. Now I don't know if this was because the video is cut off. I wasn't there. I don't know if he actually had an introduction. But it would be nice if he could have something preceding his main points. An introduction is typically used to give the audience an idea of what to expect from the speech that the speaker is about to give. And lastly, his biggest strength to me was being able to speak from the heart. You could tell that he genuinely cares for these students and wants them to reach their full potential in life. He tries to build a strong emotional connection with them from his talk so that his words will be taken to heart and have a deeper impact on the audience. Overall, that was a deeply inspiring speech. If you're ever looking for inspiration, all you need to do is watch a few minutes of this speech and you'll have your daily dose of motivation, inspiration, whatever you need. It's a tradition here to rate the speaker's communication skills based on this specific performance, so let's do that. For language, he's gonna get a full 5 out of 5. He used a lot of rhetorical devices and the language used was very pleasant to listen to. Vocal variety was exceptional. He gets a 4 out of 5 on this one. He made the use of the pause very effectively in several places in his talk. His eye contact was outstanding. He's gonna get a 5 out of 5 for eye contact. Gestures is where I think he could use some improvement. I'm gonna give him a 4 out of 5 on this one. comfort level, he gets a 5 out of 5. He's an amazing public speaker. Overall, I'm gonna give him a 4.6 out of 5 stars. He could certainly make it as a motivational public speaker. If his career in acting ever starts to dry up, he could certainly make the switch at any time. That is it. Thank you very much for watching. Comment down below if you agree or disagree with something that I said, and please suggest other speakers for me to analyze. See you in the next one.